tell a little story just to put everything in perspective, okay? Carly was recently pregnant for the second time, evidently never having a prenatal appointment. She had quite a surprise waiting for her when she went into early labor. She was surprised with 2 twin boys, Kyle Fly and Miles Truss. They were 6 weeks early, so they were really, really, really tiny and under a lot of stress due to their prematurity. They were doing pretty good, but they were barely hanging in there. He passed away at 4:09 a.m. This young woman received no prenatal care, and she had no idea she was carrying twins. On her social media account, she actually bragged about living in the woods with her boyfriend and smoking pot during her pregnancy. And it's tragic. It's tragic to think that she had no idea what she had really inside of her, that she had the responsibility of caring for it, and these little babies had no idea a way to fight it off independently. Well, anyway, my name's Nancy, and I graduated from nursing school at Fairmont in May. I work on the maternal child floor at UHC, and I'm an RN. I take care of women every day who are either still carrying their child and there for tests, or they're going to labor, or I'm teaching them how to care for their babies so they can go home and care for them the rest of their lives. Before pregnancy, most people do receive prenatal care. About 71% of people begin their prenatal care in their first first trimester, and about 7% of people either begin in their third trimester or don't begin at all. However, the ones that do not start prenatal care are the ones that usually have issues with the things that I see at work every day, and sometimes it doesn't work out well for the mom, and especially for the baby. I believe that everyone should receive some source of prenatal care during their pregnancy, because it really is such a vulnerable time for the mom and the baby, because especially the first trimester, before people even realize they're even pregnant, that's when things like the heart and the neural tube, which everything sprouts from, is developed. And actually by the end of the 8th week of pregnancy, all organ systems are developed and all structures are pregnant, and the little thing actually looks like a human, even though it kind of looks like a little alien still. During prenatal care, the mother is screened for issues that can compromise her or unborn child's life during their pregnancy. And prenatal care can better promote pregnancy outcomes by providing early risk assessment and promoting healthy behaviors such as improved nutrition and other lifestyle modifications. Improving nutrition is a big thing during pregnancy. You need to increase protein. It's kind of just slightly more than pre-pregnant. You can do this by increasing meats, eggs, nuts, so things like that. You can increase iron because women get this thing called physiologic anemia during pregnancy, and you actually double your iron intake during pregnancy to meet these needs. And folic acid is a big thing. It's in all prenatal vitamins, and that's why I encourage everyone of any childbearing age to begin prenatal vitamins before you even think of even having a baby, because just in case an accident happens and you just have that backup, because folic acid prevents things like neural tube defects such as spina bifida, which can I've actually seen a girl that's about 20 years old who couldn't walk and had no bowel bladder control because she was born with spina bifida. And foods are just not enough for this supplement, and this is one congenital defect that can be completely prevented if you just increase your intake of folic acid. Weight gain is another big thing for pregnancy, about another 300 calories a day and more for the second and third trimesters. And also, this is no time to start diets, because you kind of need to continue whatever you started before pregnancy into pregnancy, because you can actually, if you are burning fat instead of protein and all of the other things you're eating, you can go into preterm labor. You, of course, gain about 25 to 35 pounds during pregnancy, and of course less if you're overweight or obese. And the fetus can actually suffer if the mother gains too much or too little during pregnancy. That's why weight is measured every single prenatal appointment, and it's very, very, very closely monitored. One thing around here that I see a lot is drug abuse during pregnancy. About 50% of the people I see on my floor are drug abusers. Actually, about 10% of people, pregnant women, admit to using tobacco, alcohol, or illegal drugs. Things that can happen with a baby are like spontaneous abortions, which I've seen a girl that said, well, I smoke meth 2 times a month. Well, that's the reason you had your abortion. Things like preterm labor, stillbirth, neonatal addiction, and fetal alcohol syndrome. Actually, neonatal withdrawal, that's one of the first things they taught me when I started working, is how to score these babies. That's how important it is around this area. And smoking during pregnancy, people think it's not a big deal, but it really is. It can cause preterm labor. The placenta can actually separate from the uterus, and fetal death. And smoking actually causes vasoconstriction, which decreases placental perfusion to the baby. And fetal alcohol syndrome can cause like growth restrictions, mental retardation, poor speech, and even death while in utero. The mom screened for issues during prenatal appointments such as cardiac issues because, of course, the mom gets more blood when she's pregnant, so it circulates and can actually overload her heart. And gestational and type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Gestational diabetes is diabetes that develops while you're pregnant, and you're actually screened for this between 24 and 28 weeks of pregnancy at your prenatal appointments. Any diabetic mothers have very large babies typically if they're not controlled, and usually end up having C-sections, and the babies usually have blood sugar issues after they're born. And of course, women are screened for sexually transmitted diseases because a lot of times they can't even have a vaginal delivery if they have a sexually transmitted disease, which I've actually seen recently. And then group B strep is something that everyone's screened for right before delivery and screened for every single pregnancy during the prenatal appointments, because it's actually the leading cause of infant mortality and morbidity, and women just receive prophylactic antibiotics during their delivery or induction if they are positive for group B strep. The thing is that people just really need to be educated about this, because sometimes people just simply don't know how important it is. And it may take just even anyone, not even healthcare providers, to just convince them that they really need to go. Especially for adolescents, they're very uneducated and they just think it's cool and all that kind of stuff. You can be pregnant or have sex and whatever. Just have a very non-judgmental approach with them and have them be open with their parents and their doctors and have them go see an OBGYN. And even if they are of childbearing age, to have them take prenatal vitamins just in case an accident happens. Repetition really, really does matter. If you tell them over and over and over and over again, they may either get so annoyed with you they do it, or they're just going to have it stick in their head. And like I said, it's not just healthcare providers that need to do this. Everybody needs to convince women to do this. And even fathers, convince your sons or your grandsons to do this, because they can convince their female ladies to do it too. Because everyone has a role, and especially around here with the drug users, approach them kind of like adolescents with a non-judgmental approach, kind of really reinforce their changing of their negative behaviors and just really convince them that it's so important to help those babies. And just be proactive. Like I said, the prenatal vitamins before, go have your annual pap smears, have everything like that. Just think about Carly at the beginning of the story, where if she would have just had prenatal care, she would have maybe known she was pregnant, known not to smoke pot during a pregnancy because that can cause a lot of fetal issues, and that one baby may not have died. People brush things off and just say, no, it's not important, that can never happen to me, because those shows I didn't know I was pregnant end up showing that they're so great that they're really not. And yeah, the mother may be fine, yeah, but the baby's not, and the baby has no way to actually stand up for itself and be independent. Because for that little vulnerable baby, it's very important. Thank you.
Very good. You want to double check your video?